Hey guys, I'm in my happy place on my front porch. So if you hear dogs barking in the distance or any nature noises, that's where I'm at. Hey, our internet got cut off today and I really wanted to go over, especially with Mr. Kramer's class, a few things about the Ohio State test. We've been prepping all year, so we need to trust our preparation, we need to trust our training with character and setting and plot and comparing and contrasting and problem and solution and all the things we've been learning in reading class and in writing class to prepare us. However, on the internet today, we were going to practice with some tools. So let me go over a few reminders for you and things that you need to know for the test to give your very best on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, so on the morning of the test, I will give you a test ticket and I will walk you through every step how to log in. And if you're in Mr. Kramer's class, he will give you a test ticket and give you every step on how to log in. Once Mr. Kramer says you may begin the test, or once I say that, it's really wise to know how many questions there will be. Sometimes we have only 7, and other times we have all the way up to 21. It should show you up at the top. If you want to make the story larger, you can click on the arrow at the top, or you can just scroll down to read the entire passage. As you can see, there's a second passage if you keep scrolling down. Be sure to read both passages. I always encourage students to look at 1 or 2 questions first and then read the story and the passage so you know what to look for. Definitely look back in the story to answer your questions. On questions like this one, you just click on 2 phrases and then go to the next. Most of the time, there's options A, B, C, or D. In this situation, you don't need to look back in the story because they have the passage excerpt right there for you to reread. On question 4, you want to read carefully and look at all your options, and sometimes we can use process of elimination to pick. This question definitely requires you to read both stories and understand what both passages are about. Be careful with Part A and Part B. Some students skip Part A, but don't forget to scroll down, and Part B needs to match Part A. Usually it's main idea and details. Reading all of your options and then taking time to look back in the story is a really good strategy for each question. There's always an essay for the very last question. Sometimes this is number 8 and other times this is number 21. I don't know how many questions there will be. You need to look for that key phrase, write a multi-paragraph essay that, and then highlight it. So you drag your cursor and you will have a mouse to drag, and then you go up to the top corner and you click highlight. That becomes my yellow topic sentence. Don't forget to just ignore those bottom bullet points. They all tell you, use your passages. Don't forget to write information from the passages. Now, once I use that yellow for my topic sentence, I need to look back in the story or the passage, both of them, and highlight key details. These would be when we find our green details in class. We even had a little bit of a fish court one day and we decided, is this a good detail or is this a bad detail? And you will do the same process here and only write down all the good details that match the question. Not everyone will have time to write this much, but writing at least 2 paragraphs is a great way to get a good score. Go over some tools. This tool is the zoom in, this one's the zoom out, and this one is the line reader. The line reader does this to your story, and you can arrow down with your arrow key to go down to each line and read one line at a time, almost like a bookmark would highlight for you as you read. Very helpful. We do not use the notes because it wastes our time, and students don't need to write notes during the test. Masking tool we do not use either. It just hides things on your page if you don't want to see certain things. So students might click on it and then they can't get it to go away, so we just don't use it. Let me show you what it'll do. It'll make a little gray box. If you don't want it there, you have to click the X. Before you submit, you need to raise your hand and we will check at the end. If you see an orange triangle like that, that means you missed a question. So we will go back and make sure you answer that one. Then once they're all green and your teacher is with you, you may submit. Another tool is this clock. If you click on the clock, you can hide it. You can click on the clock again to show how much time you've been working. You have 90 total minutes, and some students don't want to see the clock running while others do. I want to show you another example of a practice test that doesn't have just 7 or 8 questions. This next test has more. When you go to the 6 and you click next, you think you might be done, but you're not. There happens to be 7 through 14. So don't be fooled if there's only 7 or 8 at the top. Go ahead and click next to make sure you know exactly how many questions there are total. Then when you click next, it should be the last one, an essay. Okay, so those are some things I wanted to go over with you, as well as the fact that you have 90 minutes to take this test, and we talked about that today, and you will be able to go back and fix one if you need to fix one, but you have the whole hour and a half. When we reach 45 minutes, you want to make sure you get to that essay or you're getting close so that you don't run out of time. The most important part is reading carefully and answering the questions. Looking back in the story, that essay is worth about 1/3 of our points. And the actual test itself, which I talked to you about today, the comprehension is worth more like 2/3. So we want to do a good job on the comprehension, go slowly. All we have to do is give our best, and that's all we ask for. You've been prepared for this, and again, this is an end of the year test. We hope to see a 700 on the end of the year, but this is the beginning of the year. So this is kind of like your first shot at seeing how great you can do with this. And there's no need to be nervous, just give your very best, and we will be proud of you. Do your best, read the question first. Read the passage at least one time through. Go back and look in the text. Use that time wisely. When Mr. Kramer and I say 45 minutes, try to get to your essay, and you will do a wonderful job. Giving your best is always enough.